Hello and welcome to Is This England, a show where we talk about old England games and ask just how England was this.
Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're looking back at episodes 12 to 23 of the show and creating a starting 11 for England and the rest of the world. Let's battle it out.
Time can do. Baby, you mean everything to me.
Here we go then. I like these episodes.
Yeah.
A chance to stop, have a bit of a moment for reflection, have a little bit of a laugh if you want.
Oh, a little bit of a joke every now and then.
Well, yeah. Some of your picks are a joke, mate.
Can
I'll
I?
tell you that.
You haven't seen mine. Can I just freestyle a little bit here? We're off script. We're off. Off notes.
Can you tell? So we've done this once before. That was episodes 1 to 11, and we picked. Basically, we try and get a good spread. So obviously, across the games which are covering today, there are going to be a lot of standout performances, but you're not going to just pick the whole 11 from that game,
No.
are you?
Well, I've not.
Okay, well, nor have I. We try and get a good spread to cover. Some of the games are so bad and the performances are so bad that they're not going to get a mention. Do we want to start? Well, basically as well, just one more thing, a bit of admin. Me and Nick will share our teams for England and our teams for the rest of the world individually. Then we'll create a collective, a monster.
A Megazord.
A Megazord. Do we want to start with England or the rest of the world?
Well, I was going to say, do you want to read them out or do you want me to?
Do you want to read out what? No, we alternated, didn't we, last time?
Shall we start off with our friends from abroad?
Okay, yeah, your friends and mine, and I'll start. My pick for goalkeeper,
Okay.
Ricardo, Euro 2004
That's a very good one. I didn't
against
have that.
Portugal. I'm looking back, that was episode number 16. So, I mean, he scored the winning penalty in a penalty shootout against England after saving a penalty with no gloves on.
That's true.
Didn't do too much else in the game. I don't think he made an incredible save, but I think we looked back at the time and he was saying something just came over me and I was just like, I'm going to win this penalty shootout on my own.
The mere sight of Darius Vassell sent him into madness, and he was like, I don't know who this person is who's just come on.
him.
And I hate him, so I'm going to ruin his England career and I'm going to end it.
Who's your goalkeeper, Nick?
My goalkeeper is Grosic from the Hungary side from 1953, I think it was.
Yeah, so the match of the century, that was.
The match of the century goalkeeper. I put him in. He conceded 3 goals and he barely had anything to do, really. But I remember him making a save and just going, God, even that, they are better than us, aren't they?
He was a man ahead of his time, really.
Yeah.
Doing what would probably pass for modern day keeping in some elements back in 1953.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll touch on that team more throughout this selection. But yeah, that was a bit of an arse kicking.
Yeah, definitely. It could have been miles worse. It was the game with the worst offside decision I've ever seen in football.
Yeah.
I think the offside was given, and he was outside of the England penalty area, and the England players were in the penalty area, and he was given offside. Just mind-boggling
Conspiracy,
how that worked. Yeah, it was terrible, but he was good in that game, even though I think he conceded a goal that we didn't see either.
Yeah.
So to me,
that's true.
To me, that didn't happen.
That's 2 goals, not 3.
Yeah, he also conceded a penalty, not his fault.
Yeah.
Ricardo conceded a few penalties, but crucially, he saved one as well. So.
And crucially, he scored one.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
We'll come back and we'll decide who gets the jersey.
Yeah.
Do you want to go right back, centre back, left back?
Yeah, we can go that way if you want to crack on with your first pick.
Okay. I'm not proud of this, but it's Dani Alves. from the 150th FA anniversary friendly in 2013.
Oh, the game where everything went wrong and it was the worst time in the world ever because so many people had died and there was tragedies and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff that happened around then.
And Ashley Cole was snubbed left, right, and centre.
Oh my God, the poor Ashley Cole on his 100th cap.
Yeah.
It was just like, well, Steven Gerrard's getting something. We were saying, well done, Gerrard.
I picked Danny Alves simply because I was struggling to find the right back. I could have just, and you may have even done this, I could have just picked the right back from the Hungary game because they were all brilliant, but I've got quite a few of those lads in my lineup. It's not a we should say as well that we try and base it on the merit of the game. So
Yeah.
I'm not basing this on the rest of Danny Alves' career, which I think is the most successful footballing career of all time in terms of trophies.
He's up there, isn't he? It's him or something like Busquets, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
obviously that incredible Barcelona team that just won everything. But yeah, Dani Alves has won an obscene amount of trophies, and as you say, maybe the most ever.
Not great in that game, but I struggled. So
Yeah.
he's my pick for right back.
And you can barely say he was a right back at times, like for the amount of times he's just spent on the wing up the pitch. But he was a right back on all the games and all that, and he is a right back, so a fine pick, really.
What's yours?
My right back is Magi Bugera.
Is that from the Hungary game?
It is from the Algeria game.
Oh,
He is one of the men who snuffed out Capello's chaps and just did a great job, clearly. I mean,
can't argue with the snuffing.
no, and I think no one comes out of that game good. But if you're going to say anybody does, you'd probably say it's the Algerian defence. I think they come out of it with an acceptable kind of thing. You know, they're the winners of that game, really. It was 0-0, but they come out of it with their heads held high. Probably the best result in their history, maybe.
Well, to continue on that trend, my first centre back pick is Antar Yahya.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I forgot to pronounce his name correctly. I didn't forget to pronounce his name correctly. I can't pronounce his name correctly.
Yeah.
But he was the captain for Algeria in that game.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, I don't remember anything about his performance, but I agree with you completely. If anyone comes out of that game with credit, it has to be the Algeria defence.
Yeah.
He's the captain, centre back.
Well
I
done.
needed one.
Yeah.
You'll know how badly I need one when you hear my next pick. But what was your first centre back pick?
So one of mine is also Antanya here.
Yes.
So we've got
He's guaranteed.
He's in. He's captain right now.
What?
He has agreed to be in this team somehow.
Well, not his competition, but we'll compete to see who partners him. It's another captain
Okay.
from another World Cup game,
Okay.
20 years prior.
Okay.
That's Italia 90. That's Republic of Ireland. That's
Thank you.
Big Mick McCarthy.
Snap.
No! I was so worried about my centre back pairing. I thought I'd be ripped to shreds. We've got the same team.
Yeah. So far, we've got the joint lads in there. I mean, what would Mick have to say to you here? I mean, we already know what he thought about the Algeria game. He thought it was rubbish, even though he was on a plane at the time.
Didn't watch it.
And it was like UBS breaks or something that he said with the man of the match.
Yeah. Wow. I am excited.
Yeah.
And scared and excited.
It is. We've had to really reach there. I feel.
It's two captains in underdog getting draws against England performances.
Yeah, I think that's good. And, you know, no memory of Mick's performance, pretty much anything,
Oh,
because, like, he spends most of the game booting the ball in the air towards the forwards for Ireland.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think he was fine, fair, all that kind of stuff. He does keep Lineker and Beardsley. I think it is quiet in that game, so they don't really do much. So we're almost doing it for how crap England were in games. Well, I'm assuming the defenders were good. So, yeah, we've both got them in there at least.
Do you want to go left back first?
Left back, yeah. Do you want me to go for my
Yeah,
left
go
back?
on.
My left back is Francesco Rocca.
Okay.
Do
In the
you
words,
know
of,
who
in the
he
words
is?
of Craig David, can you fill me in?
So he was the left wing back, whatever you want to call it, who played against England in the bicentennial game. He is the player, when we watched the game, he made some darting runs forward.
Did he?
Well, he did, yes.
Well, he did. I'll take your word for it because I can't remember.
You were probably too confused by the baseball mount that they were playing on, all the other craziness that happened during that game. I don't think we'll ever cover a game as strange and as in, and I mean this in this way, it's such a foreign atmosphere as well. And it's just like, you might as well had a game on Pluto or something for how strange it was.
It was otherworldly. That's it.
But he kind of stood out to me because I think he just like, he was one of those ones where the commentator and Keegan are like, well, this isn't very Italian. And he was running with the ball and he was a
Right.
defender and he was just, he kind of tore through England at points as well. I thought he kind of stood out to me from, again, I was kind of struggling with the defence in general, but I
Yeah.
thought, you know what? He was good instead of me putting the entire Algerian backline in.
I've got Gula Laurent from the match of the century.
Okay.
Not sure whether he was a left back. I think he was a defender. It was kind of hard to tell. I heard his name come up a few times and I was really desperate.
Yeah.
I think anyone from that Hungary team is always in with a shout.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue against that Hungary team, really. Anybody gets in, they go, yeah, probably had a good game. I mean, some of the names stand out more than the others.
I feel like I remember hearing that one, and that was one of the reasons I put a player in last time. Was I just don't remember the game. I remember hearing their name.
Oh, didn't you put Sammy McElroy at right back because you went? Well, I heard McElroy a lot.
Yes, I did. Yeah, Laurent, famously born 6th of February 1923.
Do you want to put your phone down when you're doing this?
Date of death, 31st of May. No, I just knew this off the top of my head. 31st of May 1981. I just want to have a look at how many appearances he'd made for Hungary, actually. 37 caps representing Hungary. He went on to be a manager in the Greek league and also managed Bayern Munich.
Oh, he managed Bayern Munich. That's pretty good then, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, he probably
we did try and judge them on the merits of the 90 minutes.
It was more interesting. I thought he was going to say he became the president of something because like all that Hungary team just go on to like big military careers or something else, don't they? They're a fascinating team.
Absolutely. He's mine. I'm sure he's not going to get in, to be honest, which is a travesty. Do you want to start with the midfield? Do you want me to?
You crack away. I'm interested to see who you put in.
Well, I've picked 3 midfielders.
Okay.
The first of them, Antonio Ratin.
Snap.
Yes. Now, why have we chosen a man who, all context aside, got sent off in the first half of a game that his team lost, and he was captain for?
Around the 36th minute, he gets sent off, and he's made it into our team somehow, so he's in.
I think if I was manager for rest of the world, I would want someone with that amount of fight.
Yeah,
I just wouldn't want the little Taylor or whatever his name was to be refereeing this game.
Yeah. If we're picking this on, well, who do we want to go and face England and to really stand a chance against winning? You put Rattin in there, because he was such a bugger in that game. He was everywhere. The referee said he was basically trying to referee the game.
Yeah,
the fuss afterwards as well of our game. He would be leading the charge, fighting people, throwing piss on them or whatever he was doing in that game as well. Just magnificent to see him strolling around the pitch and being about 9 foot tall as well. I thought he was really good entertainment.
And our most popular episode.
Yeah, for some reason.
Out of nowhere, there was just a big surge of listeners for that episode. And again, it's the Tin Hat Brigade, I think.
Oh, yeah, maybe it's the Alex Jones conspiracy nuts that were really into that one. Who knew? Well, they'll be happy with this one. They've got another mention for Rattin.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to give him the armband. Well, he's definitely starting. I think it's got to be Algeria's man.
Are you going? All right, well, we'll see at the end.
We'll see. Okay. You thought about it more than me then.
Not really, but I'm just like, I'd quite like to give it Rattin. Just cause an absolute fuss. And actually give him a reason to go and talk to whoever the referee is as well.
Can you give me a midfielder next?
Yes.
Go on.
The other midfielder I am putting in, or one of them, is Fabio Capello.
Snap.
We've done it again.
I reckon we may have a completely in sync midfield, but let's talk about Capello. As we say, that game's alien.
Yeah.
The USA Bicentennial Cup clash at the Yankee Stadium. What was alien to me as well was that Capello wasn't a centre back.
Yeah.
In my mind, he was just a centre back, just killing people.
And in that game, he wasn't really like the competent midfielder of like, I'm going to go and kick people, I'm going to be the enforcer. He was actually like a lot more.
He got an assist, didn't he?
I think so, and he was a lot more glidey than I'd have thought as well, and quite cultured.
Bit of a cultured playmaker type.
I mean, I don't know why I was shocked that an Italian is cultured in playing football and very good at
It's
it.
Capello, though, isn't it? And from our experience, we are used to scary man Capello. We've seen a lot more of him recently than we have in the last 10 or so years.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit, these guys he's a player. Oh God, that's going to be terrible. Oh no, it's joy to watch.
But he looked scarier, I think, at points. I think I'd seen a picture of him as a player, and he looked terrifying. Like he looked like he hadn't slept in about 9 years, and his eyes were really like bored into the back of his head. And I was just like, oh God, this horrible Frankenstein is taking England apart.
Yeah, yeah. And he did for a while
Yeah, for a while
until he couldn't.
until they had to kick him to the sand.
Yeah, that's right. So you pick then, I'll go. I didn't write his first name down. Hidakuti.
Ah, Hidakuti, yes. Nandor Hidakuti is the man.
Nando Hidakuti. Is he playing up front for you, or has he missed the boat?
He's in my team.
Okay.
He's in there somewhere.
Well, he got a hat trick in the match of the century.
Yeah.
A lot of the attention, rightly so, is on Puskas. But yeah, he tore England to shreds, including a goal in the first minute where we were like, God, that wasn't sporting, was it? He just gets the ball and just absolutely smacks it into the flipping top corner.
And the England players in that game as well, it feels like they're like, well, wait a minute. Like, this isn't how's gentlemanly done over here. We just like the feeling out process. Everyone has a cigarette break and then we start playing football.
A break before we start.
Yeah, exactly. Like a starter.
So, okay, so do you have another I picked 3 midfielders.
So I've got 3 midfielders as well.
Are you playing Hidakuti in an attacking position?
Hidakuti will be in attacking position. In fairness, he played the false 9 in that game. So that's maybe is why you've put him in midfield, because actually he was dropping deep and it was like, I've heard a lot about this false 9 that these guys are playing or whatever, like a low, deep striker they called it or something.
We can make it work.
Yeah, let's see.
I think if we were we've both got Ratin and Capello. I think they're capable of holding
their own.
Holding the line. Yeah. Go on your third midfielder then.
So my third midfielder is Lena Magul.
Hungary.
So she was in the Germany team that we watched with the England women v the Germany women Euros final.
That is a great shout. She had a great game.
So she is the goal scorer from memory as well. She played really well in that game and gave England a lot of problems as well. Obviously, they were without Pop, their star striker in that game, and they missed her, but you never actually felt that it was just like, God, they don't know what they're doing out there, and they're just so lost without her, because players like McGill really stepped up, I thought, and
definitely.
were just like a constant pain in England's arse in that night.
I think she was the main threat, really, to England. The team itself was threatening just because of the nature of it, but she was leading the line, as you say, in lieu of Pop.
Yeah.
Well, we know that one of your attackers is Hidakuti.
Yes.
So what does that mean for what we do now? Shall I pick a...
Do you want to go for one of your forwards and we'll see how we get on?
Yeah. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo, okay.
Euro 2004, had a great ding-dong with Ashley Cole. I mean, he didn't have the biggest influence on the game. I think it was still mainly sort of Rui Costa and I think kind of Deco and that sort of general general Portuguese team.
Yeah.
But it was great to see a young Ronaldo still be really good, and that battle with Ashley Cole is one for the ages. I don't think he's ever had a performance where he's ripped England apart.
No, I don't think so either. I think he plays really well in that game. He just comes up against a career best Ashley Cole at that point. I think we said at the time that they're both good and they both start off really well in that game. But as it goes on, Cole wins it hands down by the end, with Ronaldo still being good. But for some reason, refusing to switch wings.
We better hope that our left back for England is Ashley Cole, else this guy might run wild on our ass.
Yeah, we've definitely got to hope Ashley wants to join up with us. So we'll see if either of us have picked him.
You can go next, Nick.
Yes,
I will allow you that.
Oh, thank you very much. One of the players I would put in mind is Laszlo Budaj. So he was from the Hungary game.
Okay,
there's a big
Every
theme
time
here.
I hear a name that I'm not instantly recognisable, I'm like, Hungary.
Yes. So Budaj played on the right wing and gave England a torrid time down that channel. I want to say that the England left back may have been on his debut, and I was just like, God, imagine coming up against this person you've never heard of in your life.
Was he the one who? What did they say? They've got some experience of playing against Hungary. They watched them.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Or he's been to Hungary once. Well, not been. He saw a picture of it. You know.
Yeah.
He was a quick player down that side from memory, and it was just like when all the play was going on around the pitch, they just kind of stuck it out wide to him, and he was just constant all night down there. So Budaj is the player that I put forward at that point.
So does that mean I just have 2 and you have 1?
I have got one player left to suggest who I've put in my team. Yes.
Okay. I'll build a bit of suspense because I'm
Yeah.
pretty confident that I know who it is.
Okay.
So my player who isn't that player,
Mm-hmm.
and I have also picked that player that we are not naming
Yeah.
yet, but Francesco Graziani
Graziani, yes.
scored 2 goals in the first half for Italy against England in the bicentennial game. And just that really, 2 goals.
Yeah,
You know?
2 goals. He was very clinical. There were 2 good finishes. He had to be there to kind of make them as well, and even just to send the fans into raptures. Those hot-blooded Italian Americans just really getting behind the team again.
Well,
He was the reason for that.
At the end of the day as well, I picked Ronaldo who hasn't scored. I can't really turn down a striker who scored 2 goals.
Ronaldo's be fuming in that lineup. That era Ronaldo of like not scored, and the like Hidekuti's got a hat trick.
Yeah.
Graziani's got 2 goals against England as well. Ronaldo's just like, oh, I'm not even playing anymore. I was like, well, actually, I have scored 3 goals. You just missed them.
Enter Ashley Cole.
Yeah.
Sit down. I think we know who. I think we have a combined, agreed pick for the last one. Do you want to say who it is?
It is Ferenc Puskas.
That's correct. Correct.
Amazing performance.
Yeah, one for the ages.
Yeah.
The things that the kind of stuff that legends are made of. One of the most incredible goals from that era you will ever see.
Yeah.
An all-round spectacular performance, and just a lesson in football for England. I think I remember saying, would England or should England have considered quitting playing football after that game? Was it 6-3 in the end?
60. I think you wanted to shut down the FA and like out on the pitch just go, I refuse to play anymore, basically.
The distance was just too far between the two teams, and nobody was more kind of symbolic of it than Puskas.
And it was a horrible shock as well to those players, clearly. Like we knew the score and we'd heard of the game before doing it. But kind of the commentators like, well, I've heard these guys are pretty good. And as the game starts, it's like, oh my God, we are in danger here. It's like a predator's just walked into the room or something.
It is. It is. I don't think there's much to add to Puskas, really.
No, he, like you say, he scored one of the great goals. He was just a constant threat. He was just proper bugger to England that night. So yeah, he's in both of our teams. He goes in alongside Hidekuti. Shall I run through the team so far and tell you who we've got to pick from now?
Do we want to pick the team then?
I think we want to pick the team so England know who they're against.
Let's stack the cards in their favour.
Yeah.
Goalkeepers.
Yes, we are choosing between Grosic and Ricardo.
Are you going to look past the goalkeeper scoring a winning penalty?
I'm not. No. I think Ricardo it's a very good shout to have him in there. If there's a penalty, there's a chance he's going to save it. There's a chance he's going to score one.
Yeah.
We've got a few penalty scorers in here as well.
Leader, but
Yeah.
all respect to your Hungarian man.
I know. Yeah. Played very well. He makes a great save in that game, and you're just like, I don't think that technique's been invented in England yet, and no one's even seen like the ability to do that yet. So yeah, really good performance from Grosic, but it is Ricardo who gets in there.
Wow.
Left back, I'll go left back actually. This one it is Laurent from the Hungary game, or it is Francesco Rocca.
It's hard to say. I can't really. I think let's go for Rocca because he's definitely a left back.
Yeah, yes. The Sammy McElroy incident repeats its head again, doesn't it?
Yeah, I shoot myself in the foot with these.
Yeah.
Our centre back pairing is agreed.
That's agreed already. Yahya and Mick McCarthy, which is great to see, isn't it?
God. England strikers are licking their lips now. Let me play. Let me play.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't like to play against Mick McCarthy. He'd be either bore you to death or kick you up in the air. So
what about our right back?
our right back is either Bulgaria or Dani Alves. I think a bit of representation for Algeria being in there because again they were the good team actually out of the. I mean, neither team played well. Again, let's just clarify that. A game where both teams are awful.
Well, Dani Alves was playing in defence and his team lost.
Yes.
Um,
Conceded 2 goals as well.
and the Brazil against England.
Higher standards, lads.
And this and your man, the Algeria right back, drew
Yeah.
and plays for Algeria.
Yeah.
I think there's some kind of scientific formula in there that means that it can't be Dani Alves.
Yes, agreed.
Okay. let's go on to the midfield. We've got a couple of agreed players, right?
Yep.
A Ratin and Capello just sitting there.
Yeah, oh, they're the holders.
Yeah, you've got Capello can push forward a little bit though.
Yeah, just a little bit, not too much, because Ratin will shout at him. And,
Oh God, he'll shout back though.
yeah, but in their prime, I'd back Ratin.
Yeah, yeah.
If you were just going swinging at each other, see what happens.
yeah, 100%, 100%.
I'd back Ratin on there. So we've got Ratin and Capello who've been agreed on, and
We've both got Hidakuti, right?
we've both got Hidakuti, so I'm putting him up front. I'm putting Puskas up front as well. So we've got that agreed on. What we haven't got agreed on yet is that there is one more position to go here.
Well, why
Well,
don't
actually,
we?
no. So there's two more positions actually to go, but it kind of changes the formation. So 2 places to go. We've got to pick 2 players out of those we've just mentioned.
I'm struggling. I think talking specifically about the games that were played, I can't remember the Germany player's name.
Magul.
Magul. More influential on the game than Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, I'd say that as well. And if it's this Ronaldo we're putting in, and you never know who may pop up at left back for England,
Yeah.
I don't want him in that game because he's already proven he can't do it in this setting.
And let's get her in.
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
Magul plays in midfield. Ronaldo is out, so that means there is a straight shootout.
Okay.
So we have Graziani or Budai.
Graziani scored 2 goals. I think the more hungry players we can get in, the better, though. So should we go with Budai?
Yeah, and that means we would then have we could then actually have the Hungary front 3. I think there's another player in there who's going to be devastated to have missed out.
Yes.
Whoever that is for the Hungary side. Again, we don't know, but Hidakuti, Budai, and Puskas would be your forward players there. So they already know how to get it done.
Let's hear the starting 11 then.
Yep. So we've got Ricardo in goal, a back four of Bulgaria, Yahir, McCarthy, and Rocker. You have Lina Magul, Ratin, and Fabio Capello in midfield, and a front 3 of Budai, Hidakuti, and Puskas.
Well done.
Well done, everyone, for getting in. We know if you're still around, you're going to be loving that.
A lot of Hungary representation there, a lot of Algeria representation
Surprisingly.
There are a lot of games that we've just completely left by the wayside. Maybe those will be the ones where England did well.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, because why would we be putting performances of bad players in here? We just wouldn't, would we? So that's who England are against. They've seen the team already. They've got to really, they've got to pick the right people for this now.
Yes. And in goal for England,
Yeah.
my choice, Mary Earps.
Mary Earps, excellent, yes.
A great performance in the Women's Euro 2022 final. Really leading with confidence and just making sort of big saves when it mattered, and I guess the defense played really well in that game.
Yeah.
And you could tell by the way she carried herself that she was a vocal goalkeeper and would have had a role in keeping that back line organised.
Yeah, I fully agree. I was mega impressed with her. She came for everything as well that she had to. Like you say, made a really crucial save at one point and commanded her area really well. So I thought she was outstanding and a real kind of one in the eye of people like, well, actually, women's football isn't very good because the goalkeepers aren't very good and all that shit.
You got to put that in the past now.
As an outstanding goalkeeper right there in every kind of term.
Definitely. What's yours?
So my outstanding goalkeeper for England is Jordan Pickford.
Yeah, I could have picked one or the other. It's going to be hard to actually choose our goalkeeper from there.
It is.
Talk to me about Jordan Pickford then.
So Jordan Pickford played in the England 2, Germany 0 in Euro 2020, played in 2021.
Talk to me more about all of it.
So
Can we just go back? Go back to that day.
I don't know if we'll ever do an England performance as pleasing to me.
Yeah, no.
Because it was one that was so crucial. I remember being so nervous for it. It was all kind of in my adult life. I can't remember an England game looking forward to it as much up to that point.
Yeah.
But you just thought it's Germany. It's kind of everything at this point. This is the chance. I think Shearer said it. This is the chance for the young players to step up and actually show all the promise that they've done and actually show that they're not scared of Germany. And they did it in spades. There's moments that, England, weren't as good and Germany came into it. But throughout, you just felt that this could be a bit different. And actually what Jordan Pickford did in that game, he makes a couple of good saves. There is one from, I think it's Werner. Werner goes in down the left and he comes out quickly to him and smothers it.
Yep. Definitely.
I think that's a really good save. And there's one from Kai Havertz as well, which is a shot just from out of nowhere, a volley, and Pickford tips it over, and it is just outstanding. And again, that presence around for England as well.
They're very similar keepers who had very
were.
similar games
Yeah, they really are.
in very similar celebratory performances.
Against very similar teams.
It's going to be very difficult to pick.
Yes.
Do you want to kick off the England defence?
Yeah, I'm going from right to left. So we do that. So the first player I'm putting in is Kyle Walker.
Okay, from the Germany game.
Same game as we've just mentioned there. Kyle Walker, we've always said that it's like cheating when he plays for England. And I think he was outstanding, kind of playing at right-sided centre half. And yeah, he has to be
right-sided
in
centre
there.
half.
Yep.
That'll come back in a minute.
Okay, go for it.
But yeah, I mean, particularly in that game, was he just as impressive as always? Was it one of his outstanding performances?
Yeah, I just thought he was just as solid as he ever is. I also thought that for the different jobs he does all over the pitch, when he kind of tucks in and plays in midfield when he needs to, when he's the last man that England have got back as well, so that they're never caught out on a counter-attack when he's there, apart from the one instant where actually Sterling lost the ball and Walker wasn't in that position because he was taking up another one of his 3 positions.
Yeah.
He's kind of there at that point. So, yeah, Kyle Walker is in, I'm going to say our back 4 for now.
Yes, that's
So
right.
I've just seen the look on your eyes.
My right back, Phil Neville.
Phil Neville.
He played at right back in Le Tournoi
He did indeed.
against Italy and
Yep.
was really good.
Very good, wasn't he?
You know, we one of the things I've learned kind of more recently as well is about that Neville brothers dynamic.
Yeah.
I really like the Hoddle era. I loved watching the Le Tournoi. And to be honest, he was one of the better players in a good team.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's interesting to look back at young Phil Neville because I think his England appearances kind of dry up as he gets a bit older. But it seemed at that point like Sky could have been the limit for him as a right back.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Fullback.
And yeah, he's kind of playing that wing back position as well, isn't it? And he was great getting up and down the pitch, and it didn't feel like, oh, what the hell's... And once you got used to the game, it didn't feel like, what the hell's Phil Neville doing there? Because I think he's seen as a bit more of like it's a bit of a joke, really, which I don't really understand where it comes from. Of like, maybe it's because of just what he did at certain points of his career with like mistakes, maybe. But I can only really think of one mistake that was like, God, what was he doing there?
Yeah, it's probably just the brothers have been the butt of jokes for a while.
The kind of the hatred of Man United around then, especially by England fans, of if the Nevilles can play for England, so can I.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really get why Phil Neville is seen as this oaf of a footballer when Gary Neville's respected right back. Like, they both had very good careers, and especially at Everton, he went on to really good things there, even playing in midfield though. But
Yeah. Good performance in Le Tournoi.
yeah.
Let's move forward then. Do you want to give us a centre back?
Yes. So my first centre back is Sol Campbell.
Snap.
Yes. So
Euro 2004, am I right?
yep.
Which, looking back, heartbreak and everything aside, well, he has his own heartbreak
Yeah.
in that game, but was a really good defensive performance from England. They
Yeah.
really held on, like, and that sounds bad,
Yeah.
but it wasn't even held on actually. That's maybe the wrong word, but they kept Portugal at bay for so long, but they just couldn't forever.
I think the problem in that game, it feels like England were down to 10 men as soon as Rooney came off,
That's
wasn't
why I
it?
said held on, but
Yeah.
then, as I said here, they weren't.
They weren't down to 10 men. They just played like they did, which was a massive problem. But if you're going to play that way and you almost go, well, we can't pass the ball for some reason, we've just forgotten how to do it and our approach isn't there, having Terry and Campbell back there as 2 centre-backs was really like, well, a backs to the wall performance. Campbell was brilliant in that game. And as you say, there's the heartbreak for the goal, which isn't actually his fault. That's his centre-back partner, John Terry's fault for
So
getting into Ricardo.
if you haven't listened to that episode, is it extra time?
It is no, it is just before extra time that happens.
So just before extra time, we're going to extra time, and Campbell gets the ball in the back of the net, but it's disallowed, just as it was in France '98.
Yeah, he's got a history for it, hasn't he?
Tragic.
Yeah,
Well, that's maybe a bit strong, but
Well,
in the context of English football,
Yeah.
in a tournament, it's a
Yeah.
tragedy.
yeah, exactly.
My other centre back is Kyle Walker.
Kyle Walker. Okay.
Now, I know he doesn't play in a 2, I just thought he might be able to
Do a job there.
do a job there with Sol.
Okay.
To be fair, I've got quite a fluid defensive line there. We've seen Campbell play at right back for England.
So far, you nominated Phil Neville, Kyle Walker, and Sol Campbell.
All could do a job at right back.
We've seen all of them play at right back, actually, haven't we? Sol Campbell played against Scotland at right back, so he's done a shift.
Yeah.
Like a big job share.
Kyle Walker, we've already gone through the reasons why he should be in there. Obviously, you've picked him in his correct position, and I've not, but we'll see how it goes. Do you have another centre-back to pick?
I've got a centre-back still to go.
And it's John Terry.
And it's no one on here we mentioned. It is Millie Bright.
Okay. Yeah.
Millie Bright, who was outstanding for England in that Euros final. She was everywhere. She could have headed away a bowling ball at any points in that game.
I feel bad because I didn't pick Millie Bright or any of the other defenders from that line. I couldn't really choose between them.
Yeah, her and Williamson.
Yeah, I should have put one instead of Kyle Walker, but I just couldn't really choose between them.
Yeah,
and I wanted to get Kyle Walker in there just
because
out of respect.
They come as a pair, those two as well, don't they? They played so well.
Yeah,
but it's like, I agree. Kyle Walker is just one of those players where like you just feel more comfortable when he's. I now having done this, I feel more comfortable when he's playing for England, and I don't really know if he's going to make another tournament after Qatar.
No,
and you're kind of like, well, if we stick with the system in the way it is or whatever, are England still going to have to find someone new to play
it
that
would have
position?
to change, wouldn't it?
I think that when he leaves the England team, the whole thing has to change. And I think it's more important that he plays rather than, we've got to play 2 centre halves or 3. We play a 3 because he's there, but pretty much.
But anyway, we've gone past Walker.
Yeah.
Can we have a little bit more about your second centre half pick?
Yeah, Millie Bright, as I say, she was outstanding throughout, a real leader in the team as well. I think she's just signed a new contract at Chelsea, so she'll be there for over 10 years, I think, now. Yeah. And a real stalwart in that England team, and one of the outstanding players on the run to the final and in the final itself.
Yeah, that back line was so impressive in the final. Probably the outstanding element of England's game.
Agreed, yeah. We've both got a left back to pick. I wonder who it's going to be.
I think we both got the same left back.
You say it?
Oh, we might not.
No, I think we've both got the same. Go on then.
Luke Shaw.
Ashley Cole.
Yeah. Well, I'll go first.
Okay.
Luke Shaw, didn't he get 2 assists in that game?
He got 1 assist in that game, yes. He put the ball out wide for Grealish, I think, for the goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
A great performance from Luke Shaw.
Yeah.
An incredible tournament from Luke Shaw. And just, he played a part in both of those goals, as you say, an assist and almost a pre-assist.
Yeah.
And just the sheer glory that comes off those 2 goals.
Yeah.
And especially, the assist, I think he assisted the first goal.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't look past him. That image of Luke Shaw just roaring in an England shirt for that summer.
His big chest just out.
And now he's back to normal.
Yeah, just back to
he
not
was
being
Superman for a year. It was only at the last second there. I thought, oh God, I didn't pick Ashley Cole, so hit me.
Yeah. So Ashley Cole, we've kind of already touched on him just by proxy of talking about Ronaldo, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've got Ashley Cole, for me, putting in, I knew that battle was going to be good. I didn't expect it to be the thing that whenever, because you watch these games and you're watching it, it's like, okay, you look away for a second or whatever. Whenever the ball went to that side of the pitch, I was glued to it.
Yeah.
And such an outstanding performance. I think from like the 35th minute on, even up to, I'm pretty sure he scores a penalty in that game as well. Up to then, he's perfect in that game. And I just thought he was outstanding. And yeah, my pick in terms of in my team.
We're going to have some hard decisions.
Yeah, a lot more than the rest of the world, aren't we? Yeah.
Hungry.
Hungry. Capello.
Yeah. Do you want to pick the first midfielder?
Yes, I will pick the first midfielder. So mine is Paul Ince. Paul Ince from 1997 is my pick. He was outstanding in that game and just got better and better and better as it went on. He also wound up the Italians, which I thought was really, really funny by doing the weird crying gesture under his eye, which I thought was brilliant. You forget
good Ince, wasn't he?
You forget how good Paul Ince was, actually. I think he's one of the great forgotten players of the Premier League by people who were maybe a bit younger and didn't see him. But he was
players of the 90s. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe it's because he spent that period out of England where he wasn't really under the microscope that people forget about him a little bit, because when he comes back to Liverpool, he's still a very good player.
That just means he was one of the better players in world football, really. If
Yeah,
he played in
exactly.
Italy for that time.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, for me, Paul Ince is in there. He pops up another couple of times around the games as well, but yeah, I think it's only the once in this one, and I'm putting in Paul Ince into my team.
Great shout. Love that Le Tournois team, as I've mentioned a couple of times.
Yeah.
My sort of holding midfielder. I think he's going to miss out already. But anyway, let's not count our chickens, or whatever the phrase would be for that.
Yeah.
Calvin Phillips.
Calvin Phillips, yeah, you kind of fell in love with him in that game, didn't you?
Yeah, he was great. Obviously Rice was good, very good, but he got a yellow card and was subbed. Calvin Phillips was there for the 90.
He was.
His range of passing was exceptional. It's easy to the lows and the highs of that tournament was so huge and exceptional. And you think of things like the Luke Shaw goal, the Harry Kane coming back from the dead basically and having quite a good tournament overall. Jack GrealishMania, Jordan Pickford just being there. You forget Calvin Phillips was star man for quite a lot of that tournament.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like you said, there's loads of other again, because England do well in a tournament, you're used to them playing a lot more, so you get to know the players more, and actually the stories come along. I mean, you've got Harry Maguire's temporary resurrection as well, haven't you?
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
excellent when he came back. I think he got in team of the tournament as well. He only played a couple of games.
He would have deserved it. I was close to picking him for our game as well.
But then you also had Raheem Sterling, who was kind of finally the English public kind of accepted him in that game too. But Calvin Phillips, an outstanding player. I remember us watching that and going, could have been sent off at one point as well. He had that orange card I remember seeing at one point. And I remember you saying at the time, you forget those moments that are so close. But like you say, passing range, toughness, and not letting Germany kind of walk over England. There was an appearance of England for go, you know what, if you're going to bring Capello, we've got Calvin Phillips here as well.
I think he may not make it because we are close to overloading on England versus Germany. He might have to fall by the wayside, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Central midfielder.
Yes, my second pick so far. We'll see where all these players kind of end up because I've gone for a 3.
Same.
Okay. My second is Paul Scholes.
Snap.
There we go.
Oh, Le Tournois, Paul Scholes.
Was he in the last combined 11? He's done well to make it into the 2.
I think he was because of the. Didn't we have an argument over Charlton versus Scotland or Scholes versus Scotland?
Oh, I think he lost out, and I think Charlton's in that team.
Okay, well,
Who knows?
he's in it. He's in it this time.
He's definitely in it this time. He's not been shunned by me. No.
Was it his debut? Or have we seen his debut in a different game?
That was indeed. It was definitely his first start. It could have been his debut. Yeah, he plays and he's quite majestic in that game, isn't he?
I look back at the early Scholes games, and we've seen quite a few of them. This one in particular, and what was the one we did recently? Portugal.
We did Portugal. Yes,
And he was good at that, and the Scotland games as well. And you think, God, I bet he was as exciting as like a Rooney type. Maybe a bit less than Rooney because of the personality of Rooney and the build. But he must have been one of the most exciting England players to watch. I mean, you'd think it's Paul Gascoigne, but without the mess.
Yeah, without the mess. I mean, he's not good at tackling at all. But
Gascoigne? I mean, famously injured.
Oh no, but
himself
I mean,
going into a tackle.
there's still a bit of mess in there as well. And in that game, but even at that young age, he is not afraid. And there's a couple of times where you go, "Oh, he could have gone as well," and that. But I guess it was just all happening. It was like, well, we're not being bullied, and even this young lad, he's not going to be bullied either in this too.
His goal scoring prowess and his talent. He scored and assisted, didn't he?
He did.
He set up Ian Wright with a scandalous pass.
That pass is amazing. You'd go out to dinner with that pass, wouldn't you?
I would. Well, he's cert, so maybe this competition for the third space in midfield. I chose Stanley Matthews.
Stanley Matthews. Okay.
The only England player in that Hungary team who looked in that Hungary game, who looked anywhere near capable of approaching their level.
Yeah.
We spoke a lot about how he'd gone into that year basically as kind of like he was kind of on top of the world in a club sense, but the national team was still yet to be convinced, or they didn't want to pick him because of politics or something.
And he was about 38 at the time as well. And it was just like, are you ever going to just be convinced by this clearly brilliant player? Like, what are you doing?
I think he scored as well in that game.
He may have scored. He may have scored the goal we didn't see. Maybe. Again, we don't know.
Well, we declared not long ago that it didn't count. I'm declaring now it does.
Oh, it does now. We're picking the
No,
England team. Yeah, obviously.
Just for being somebody who actually put in a good performance and came out of that game not looking like he was one. Basically, Hungary have came over, they've taken over the entire country, but they've gone, you can join our army if you want.
Yeah, you're in.
Yeah, you're in.
You're good.
There's none of your mates are left, and you think we're gonna come on, join us.
Yeah.
Join us. He didn't.
No.
He remained English.
Yes.
Until the day he died.
Yeah. Unlike Puskas, the turncoat who paid for Spain, didn't he?
Because of reasons.
Reasons, obviously. But I mean, are you going to foot his crumpet bill or whatever the hell it was that he
It was
had?
Scones, I think, wasn't it?
Scones. That was it. Scone Gate. Matthew's gone scone mad. I think you said.
Well, we may not have to. He may not even get a place.
I mean, is that going to be a deciding factor?
It could be. It depends who your pick is.
My pick for midfield in the 3 is Declan Rice.
Okay.
So we may have a different kind of decision when that thing comes up. But to me, Declan Rice was my midfielder I picked out of that one, just because I love Declan Rice.
I was going to say
and
you
I
love
think-
Declan Rice.
I think even if he moved to Man United, even Man United couldn't break him.
No.
I think even that would be like, I'm refusing to be broken by this shit show of a club and a midfield. He is outstanding, and I think it'll be next season that a club is going to come in for him. And apologies to West Ham fans, but a club who is going to continuously be looking and successfully winning things. I think
It's hard
he's
to
the
imagine
person.
who that would be. Being as though Man City have just brought Calvin Phillips.
They've just got Calvin Phillips. I mean, the obvious one you think maybe would be Liverpool, but I think the money that would be involved, they've obviously had Van Dijk and a couple of other players who've gone for big money, but the money that would be involved to get Rice there is a lot.
It feels like Bellingham is the Liverpool player in waiting.
The solution, maybe, yeah.
So maybe it'd be Chelsea. That seems to add up.
And I think Mason Mount's there. You've also got the fact that he was at Chelsea as a youth player. That seems the sensible place where he'd go when he goes to Chelsea, maybe, and he could play in the back 3 if needed.
But Chelsea, as good as they aren't competitive for the league at present.
At present, no. But is he that player of
I don't think
coming
he
in?
is.
I think he may be, because N'Golo Kante is kind of maybe still a great player, but on the way out. Is he going to be that next Kante where?
I think it'd be a striker with Chelsea, which is what they would need, because you
Maybe.
look at where Liverpool and City have invested in big strikers. I mean, he would definitely improve Chelsea. He'd improve any team. But was he exceptional on this day, this fateful day against Germany?
I think so. He was another one of the army of, we're not going to be bullied by this, and we're not going to let Germany walk over us. I think he was great throughout. I think straight away he concedes a yellow card and a free kick very close to England's goal.
Yeah.
And you also think, I remember right before, I think it's the second goal, he's like got cramp on the side and he's kind of on all fours, just barely able to get up with his arse like sticking out. And that's why I remember him from this game. So more for like the overall performance, but that as well, a nice bit of entertaining stuff there too.
Well done, that young man.
Yeah.
So we've both got a front three, right? I'm not too sure on the positioning of my left forward, but I wanted to get him in there.
Okay.
They can be fluid.
Well, we'll see, because there's definitely a right winger in Stanley Matthews that's made your midfield. So let's see where we go with this too.
Matthews and Scholes, 2 attacking CDMs with Phillips. Anyway, just mopping it up. Anyway.
Yeah.
Jeff Hurst.
Jeff Hurst. Yes.
Jeff Hurst, I wanted to get him in because that Argentina game was one of the biggest shit shows of all time in football. And he was the man who delivered the moment that actually decided it as a sporting contest.
Yes.
An exceptional header. Got to remain cool and composed in that situation. And I guess a lot of the team did, but he grabbed the headlines for me. I don't remember much about his performance other than that, but it was a great header, which, did we say Bobby Charlton said was the best goal he'd ever seen scored for England?
Yeah, he did, didn't he? And it was just like, well, it was maybe one of the most important goals that you say along the line with that, apart from obviously his hat-trick in the final.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jeff Hurst, I like you, didn't really feature a lot, apart from he was on the floor a lot, I remember, just being kicked around. But yeah, a really crucial goal along the way for England to win the World Cup there, when you felt if it didn't come then, it was never going to come.
and he's on the left wing for me.
Well, yeah, he's got no chance of heading that one in, has he? On the wing for you. That's on the left. Okay.
Do you have yours lined up like that? Do you want to go left for left?
We can go left to left. So on the left-hand side for me is Raheem Sterling.
Yeah. What else needs to be said? I think we may have both nearly cried when he scored that goal when we rewatched it.
Yeah.
A great performance, really stepping up when it matters, and kind of putting to bed all of that shit of he was bad at the 2018 World Cup when he was really good. He played the same game basically. It just some of the goals went in this time.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, he's your pick. Don't let me overshadow.
No, he was really good in that game. He made a chance for England in the first half when they didn't really make anything. That was kind of it. He just ran at the Germany team and they panicked and the ball fell for Harry Kane, who couldn't put it away. In the second half as well, his goal comes from him just picking the ball up and going, I'm going to do this myself then. He kind of lends the ball out to a couple of other players. And I think we said at the time, everyone does exactly what they should do at that point to make a really good goal. And his run for the goal is brilliant as well. He makes a run around the back of a German defender at the start of the move, and the ball doesn't quite come from, I think, from Grealish. He makes the run. The ball doesn't come and it goes wide to Shaw, and before Shaw punches it across the box, Sterling makes that second run, which is what gets him there and what gets him to score the goal as well.
Yeah, so he's responsible for one of the best moments of being an England fan of all time, and probably the best moment of being an England fan of our lives.
It's definitely up there, isn't it? And I'd say as well, he's also responsible for one of the funniest things that happened when we watched it back as well, when it is him that gives the ball away for Muller's chance, but Muller missed it.
Yeah,
idiot.
He drops to his knees, doesn't he, Sterling?
Drops to his knees, Sterling. Trippier says, come on, you've got to get up. We've got to do this again. But the thing that I will remember from that, not just the Muller miss, is the crowd noise as well, which was just like, oh, it's going to go in. And you hear the Germans go up and then back down like there's been some sort of tragedy. And you also got the videos from the fan parks, which I found incredible. One of my favourite things ever. So thank you, Raheem, for that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
On the right of my front three, I have Trevor Brooking.
Oh, lovely Trevor.
Had an amazing second half, at least, in the bicentennial game.
Oh, he was everywhere, wasn't he?
He was. He dragged us from 2-0 down to a 3-2 victory.
I still don't know a lot about Trevor Brooking, but when you kind of see him in those games, he was really mobile up front, and he and rapid, and the rest of the England, I don't know even what they were playing at times, but that forward line, all of a sudden they went, right, we're on.
Yeah.
And it was just like, go out there and make it your own, really, with that show. He was great.
Yeah, he was. I don't think I can add much more to that. Who's yours?
My pick is from the same game. It is Mick Channon.
Mick Channon.
The Channon.
A 2-goal wonder, if I recall correctly.
He was, yeah. And he's kind of been I've kind of made him a bit of a mockery in my own mind just because of like how many chances he missed in that Poland game. He scored in the Northern Ireland game we saw from that same era too. He was quite impressive, but missed quite a few chances in that game.
Yeah.
But this was good Channon. This is some good Channon, what we got going on here.
It's good shit.
Yeah. But,
good Channon, man.
But I thought he was really good as well in the same way that Brooking was really good. They combined really well up front. He was England captain that day for the first time as well. And yeah, I've kind of put him in there because I feel really bad about just being like, oh, we're not doing a Mick Channon game, are we?
I want, I think on the most recent recording we did, we talked about the first Is This England t-shirt, and it was something on it. I think Good Channon is a better option. Just a black t-shirt, or a white t-shirt with red letters that say Good Channon.
There's some good Channon.
Yes. Good on him.
Yeah.
I reckon we're going to have a unanimous decision for our centre forward.
Oh, you say it before me, then I don't know.
Ella Toon.
Ella Toon.
She's in.
2
for Toon.
Yes. Ella Toon. One of the substitutes, the finishers, who came on in the Euros games in the final and had done so well throughout the tournament as well as a set of finishers. But that goal.
One of the best England goals of all time.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the best final goals of all time, not just England, just in general.
Yeah.
Incredible. And we spoke at length about the wider importance of that game. But I think I may have, to quote myself.
Oh, if you will.
If I may. I think I remember saying in terms of the win is great and what it stands for culturally, but that was a sporting moment that got people out of the seat. It wasn't just about what this means, and obviously that stuff means more.
Yeah.
But like to a cherry on the cake, a beautiful chip after an incredible pass,
Yeah.
and the composure and everything like that. It's a real sporting moment, undeniable, and it set the wheels in motion.
And it's still like we're a few weeks removed from that now. And I know like every week everyone's not gonna go back to that game or whatever. But still so little was made of how good that goal was.
Yeah.
I just think it's gonna be not a forgotten goal because of the goal in the winning goal, but actually again the skill, the confidence to do that, just everything around it. We gushed about it at the time. You know, we're danger of gushing about it again. But Ellerton came on to do that in that situation is gutsy.
It is.
And something that English players don't really do. But as we said at the time, this is a different generation and a whole different thing as well. So Ellerton universally in our team, no matter what.
You're in.
You're in. Fantastic.
We have some decisions to make.
We've got some decisions. Yeah. Shall I? I'll run through a couple so we can do them, because I think when we get to the midfield and the forwards, we'll probably have to make some decisions on formation. I think.
Yeah, because I've fucking chucked in some randoms again.
There's some good people in there.
Yeah, good people. That's all we're saying.
Some good Shannon.
Go on then. Did you want to give us a few of the
Yes.
guaranteed starters or something?
So the guaranteed starters we have in there, actually, it's Paul Scholes and Ellerton. They're the only starters so far.
Yeah. Well, Kyle
Oh, actually,
Walker-
no, Sol Campbell. Sol Campbell is a starter as well.
Let's do it. Let's go from the goalkeeper.
Right. So goalkeeper, we are going to choose between Earps and Pickford. Very similar goalkeeper. If you're picking one, the other one is like not far behind, are they? In terms of they're very similar from what we've seen of them.
From memory, maybe Pickford's distribution may have contributed to the game more, and he maybe made more good saves.
Yeah, I can remember the one from Earps, which was great, and she commanded her area and was excellent. I probably remember two from Pickford, also commanded his area very well. And if you're going to say it kept a clean sheet,
Yep,
if you're going to
there you
go by pure, horrible Statman Dave
So we're getting
stats,
very cold and cynical now, aren't we?
we've got to beat that other team. That's
Yeah.
the big thing, isn't it? So I'd probably say Pickford,
Let's get Pickford in.
personally. So a very close race, maybe the closest one we'll have.
Always
so
good to have
far.
a Jordan in there.
Wow.
Yeah, probably one of the closest.
Let's go left back.
Okay.
Ashley Cole or Luke Shaw.
This is close as well. I don't know what to say. I think over this stretch of games that we're looking back on, we have seen Ashley Cole get incredibly disrespected
Yes.
on what should have been his 100th cap.
So,
So I think let's make it up to him.
okay.
Let's stick him in the squad.
Let's put him on the bench.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Gerrard is playing at left back. I think that's a good reason. It's hard
Yeah.
to choose between the two.
Yeah, I think Luke Shaw was good in that first half without being spectacular. If from memory, Jermaine Genius decided he was going to bring him off if he would have been manager.
Yeah, and
A mad decision.
he contributed a lot going forward, but Ashley Cole had a lot more to deal with in a defensive capacity.
Yeah, and I guess Luke Shaw's playing in a back five with two holding midfielders, and Ashley Cole is playing next to Sol Campbell, Terry, and nobody else near him.
Yeah.
Because Paul Scholes is refusing to play on the left, and Gerrard and Lampard don't want to play with each other, and Beckham's just giving the ball away all the time. So he had a lot of the ball coming at him, really,
Yeah.
didn't he? So
A lot of Ronaldo.
a lot of Ronaldo, and he kept him out, which is why, he's in anyway. But in case they bring on Ronaldo, we've got him. We've got him in the bag.
And I have a solution, which may give us perhaps England's greatest ever fullback combination.
Okay.
Let's just go to right back and give it to Kyle Walker.
Okay. Kyle
Because
Walker.
I picked him at centre back like an idiot. We both had him. He should, by some weird rule, be in the team.
Yeah, if Walker is in the games, essentially that's why he's in the team, isn't he? Because we need that insurance and that pace. And where he ends up playing, it doesn't really matter. He'll do a great job for England.
He may have made both final 11s.
I think he may have. He played in the Croatia game, didn't he? That we covered.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he may be the only one back to back. I want to say Pickford maybe.
Oh God, yeah.
Pickford, maybe again. Pickford's okay. You can tell what era of England we've really enjoyed recently, can't you?
Right then, we've got centre backs, and we have a centre back to choose actually because Sol Campbell's agreed upon.
He's already in there, but that means if Kyle Walker's in there,
Oh,
that means Phil Neville's dropped out. Lovely Philip and Millie Bright's in there.
that is a defensive combination.
That's the one, isn't it?
Yes.
Campbell and Bright heading away. That is
Campbell,
glorious.
Bright, Cole, Walker,
Trophies.
trophies from the back as well, building out. I love it.
Building from the back. Pickford's there as well. That's a solid, like, I wouldn't say no nonsense, but there's like two big headers of the ball there. You're not going to get past Cole. You're not going to get past Walker. It's a good job for our forwards and our midfield to really do something there, isn't there?
Well, let's talk about our midfield. What decisions do we have to make here? There's some tough ones, both logically and sort of sentimentally as well.
So Paul Scholes is in there no matter what. We've got a role for Scholes to do something, as he can do a bit of everything. We've seen
Scholes
him
roll.
the Scholes role. We could probably we've got the choices of we could probably actually say Stanley Matthews should probably play up front, and we've got a decision to make later.
Okay.
But we've maybe instead got a choice of two. Who do we want really being the bullies in there? Is it Rice, Ince, or Phillips?
Well, we want to pick one of those.
I think it's two of those three.
You know what?
Do we've got that great defense? Do we need to just?
Oh, okay.
I don't know. What do you think? 'Cause for me, I think it's one of Phillips or Rice who miss out there. I think peak Paul Ince to be really winding people up and being. I remember when he went on that.
Beating Germany in a Euros quarter final.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter much to you, does it? It's all about Le Tournoi.
I mean, one of them's in there.
Let's get into it, else it's going to be one big England versus Germany show.
Quick question: which one of them won a trophy?
Ince has got the gold.
You can get all your bloody medals.
Put them on the table.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get into it.
Ince is there with Scholes. That's a Latourmar winning midfield duo.
So much glory. We are never gonna have two tournament winning teams.
That's so true, isn't it? Well, we've actually not recently. We may have a little treat coming up with Graham Taylor's silverware.
Oh, yeah. The England Cup Challenge.
Yep.
Ince is in. Scholes is in.
It's Phillips or Rice.
Phillips completed the 90.
Completed the 90. He was always aggressive, always in there, and I think you fell in love with him a bit in that game, didn't you? Which is
Stop saying
it. You may hear. I'm happy to go with Phillips.
Let's get him in.
I think Rice was consistent throughout the tournament, as was Phillips. It's a toss of a coin, really.
Yeah.
And to go from what's he doing picking Phillips to God, what a good player he is.
Amazing.
I think that
and
totally
still,
works.
like, we look ahead and we're like, I can't imagine him starting at the World Cup. It just seems like he'll be an England player, but for that moment, he was like a certified England starter at a young age. And
I think I've got such a problem getting rid of that England team. Like for me, I'd be picking the same England team that really did well at the Euros last time round.
yeah,
So for me, I'm just a bit like, why do you need to change it? It worked so well. But I guess everyone moves on in their career. You've got to have players who are probably going to be injured. Phillips is injured at the moment. I don't know when he's going to play for Manchester City again yet. So you're like, and is he going to get the game time leading up? So is he going to be fresh or is he going to be unfit? You're kind of like, we're back.
let's not get down.
We've got our headaches already, haven't we?
We've got some strikers to pick.
We have here's some forwards. So Elatoon's in.
Yeah.
So we have on the right or the left, so supporting in whatever way we fancy, it's Stanley Matthews, Trevor Brooking, Mick Channon. There's also Raheem Sterling and Jeff Hurst. So we're a bit
Jesus.
So we're a bit fluid in terms of what we're doing with that. It's just what we think is where is it going to fit together.
I know what I want to say.
Go on.
I want to say Sterling and Channon.
Sterling and Channon.
When are we ever going to get to put Channon in one of these again,
Oh,
man?
that's such a good point.
He's made it so far, and he got goals.
He got two, and he dragged England into the lead in Yankee Stadium, and he made that commentator lose his mind as well, didn't he? The commentator was great. I don't know if we look back, that's the same commentator that's done all the 70s games we've covered.
Yeah, we need to find him.
Yeah, we need to find out him because he's my favourite commentator still from the Poland game. The lineup came out, he went, some strange names, which is my favourite thing.
Well, we've become cold, cynical robots, and Jeff Hurst got one goal.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling got 1 goal.
Hmm.
Okay.
Brooking didn't score,
Brooking
but
didn't-
contributed. Matthews, we can't remember if he scored or not.
Yeah, maybe. So Matthews gone.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
We're not going to pick a player from a 6-3 loss.
also, I'm not going to do your food bill either. so you're gone.
Yeah, that's one headache as well.
Yeah.
Sterling, more influence on the game. I couldn't really say Hurst had an influence on the game other than the goal.
Other than the goal and being kicked around, yeah.
We're just like we're making it happen, aren't we? We're making Sterling and Shannon. How do you feel about Sterling and Shannon?
I think that's interesting because Channon was kind of, from what we've seen of him, he's kind of a right forward, and you're never not quite sure where he plays because you never get the defined positions when you look back at teams like that. Yeah, I like having Channon in there. I really am kind of like bad at the way I've talked about him. This kind of the 70s is still that murky period. We don't really know what's happened. We kind of pick it up like it's in the middle of a film. Like, oh, what's happening again?
Sterling and Shannon as well. It's like a it does sound like a sort of a gritty 70s cop duo,
Yeah, like Life on Mars or
like
something.
Life on Mars. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sterling and Shannon.
Yeah, Sterling, the young, cool upstart, and Channon just like smoking 1,000 cigarettes a day with that hair.
Yeah. What's this, David Bowie?
This guy, he's got bloody makeup on.
Yeah,
And-
turn him off.
That does mean I'm going to have to leave out my crush, Trevor Brooking,
Well, he will always have that as a consolation.
and I'll always have him.
Yes, we'll always have one another. We have our England team.
We've done it.
Can you give it to us?
Yes, so we have Jordan Pickford, Kyle Walker, Millie Bright, Sol Campbell, Ashley Cole, Calvin Phillips, Paul Scholes, Paul Ince, Mick Channon, Ella Toone, Raheem Sterling.
Wow,
What a team.
A mixed bag.
Yes.
I tell you
could
what, a
say.
lot of winners, a lot of trophies, a lot of goals. I think they would. Actually, no, the Hungary team were quite good.
Yeah,
It'd be a
well,
good match to watch.
It is going to be. But you know what? The Hungary team don't have. They don't have our finishers. So
Yeah.
when we bring on the finishers, I know we've started L2 and we've gone a bit off piste.
Yeah.
But when Russo and the girls come on, they're really going to shake things up here. And what are they? What are Hungary going to do? They've got nobody. They've got literally one sub keeper who was allowed to come on before 40 minutes, but then came on 80.
Yeah, we could bring on Brooking, Russo.
Yeah, we've got the new rules as well.
Yeah.
They're not allowed substitutes. These Hungarians.
Are we doing honorary mentions and things like that?
I think apart from the players that didn't make it, I thought Terry was good in that Portugal game.
I think Shaw's probably an honorary mention.
Oh yeah,
well-
in terms of the people we've not picked. Yeah.
So Terry, yeah.
Well,
Some
well-
people we haven't even considered.
Oh, not even
Terry.
considered. I'd probably put Terry in there. There's another couple of good performances. Phil Neville was again surprisingly great in that Le Tournoi game as well.
Yeah.
No one
Wayne-
from Algeria.
Wayne
Never
Rooney's
allowed.
first 10 minutes before he got injured.
I'm pretty sure you said that Wayne Rooney was really good, and it was his highlight of the tournament was getting a corner in at one point. I mean that just rolls on forever, that tournament, doesn't it?
I think last time we picked managers. Do we want to?
Yeah, I think during the Germany Euros episode we did say, well, I wonder who our manager would be.
Yeah.
A great performance in there. Kind of a surprisingly good one in terms of how well they worked together in Hoddle in the Tournoi game.
Safegate, obviously.
Southgate as well. We've got the women's game as well, which was just an incredible performance and a winning one
It
as
would
well.
have to. It would. Yeah. Yeah. I think actually it has to be Serena Weigman.
Yeah.
I mean, genius, really.
And to mastermind, again, like to mastermind the finishers, the starters, to get everybody right, and to only, not to be tested, but the only game that they really, really struggled with, and at a point lost in the whole tournament after we've watched it back, is the Germany game, just at that point where they'd lost control of the game a little bit, and they were probably glad to get to extra time. But when extra time came around, it never felt that they were beaten. There was very few parts of that, and there's parts of the Germany game in the men's Euros where you kind of go,
Yeah.
what would have happened? The Muller, for example, like I know people that would say, well, actually, for all this Southgate's great plan and all that, if that goes in, the game totally changes, and maybe it does. And
Don't want to think about that.
but you would also say with the women's game, if the goal does go in, and you think England again, it's going to happen, but you actually look back and go, well, they came through that, so
Yeah.
maybe that would have happened for Southgate. But we can't talk about maybes. We can only talk about what did happen. And Weigman masterminding that, doing things that no other managers have ever done as well.
Well,
and unlikely to do for England at this point.
I would agree. I think we can kind of wrap it up there.
Yeah.
We've got our teams. They're going to face off, and I don't think there's any stopping us.
No, it's going to be difficult. We've just got to be careful of those Hungarians starting really quickly and just surprising us by doing disgusting things like scoring goals.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you, Nick. We'll see you all soon.